Welcome back, everybody. Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSperts. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Mr. Molitor. How we doing? A day early on Flannel Friday, I guess.
Is Flannel Friday a thing?
It should be.
Casual Friday started with just people doing like Hawaiian shirt Friday. They thought that was awful fun. That was a big thing. And tiki bars were all the rage 50 years ago. Longer than that.
I like a Hawaiian shirt, a little Tommy Bahama action. Nice, big, and comfy. Hides the belly a little.
It's funny too how like I say 50 years ago and I was thinking, like the 50s, like time flies. I was watching the 2001 Players Championship because there's just nothing on last night, and I like watching old golf tournaments. And it's like, God, this footage is so grainy. What is this? Is this from the 40s? It was so horrible, and you realize like this millennia. This is 2001, and it's just like, oh my God, what's the point of having a big TV if they're gonna show this? But is that like you have to squint? Is that Tiger? I don't even know. I don't even know. Oh, I did. VJ sinks a big putt and then instantly just drops one in the drink. It was the best part of the tournament. I mean, he like threw his club and kicked the ground. It was pretty funny. So, spoiler alert: Tiger did win. VJ second, 2001 Players Championship, and
Tiger Boy
yeah,
did.
we're. I seen some people. I was giving our friend Will Brinson some shit about doing Pick Six Pod did a way too early NFL like who wins the championship odds and I told him like, hey, it auto played for me on YouTube after a different show, and I watched like the first 2 minutes just to give him shit about him still not having a voice. He lost his voice down there, but this was something the producer Dan had posted in the chat this morning and was pretty interesting to me because it's such a narrative award. And I wanted Noops' opinion on this too, but like, is this just a lock, stock, and put your kid's college fund on it if Damar Hamlin plays football? Like, is it basically like Damar Hamlin? This is his price. This is the yes price for him to play football. Like plus 330, because there's a chance that he's not medically cleared to play next year with stuffing. So I think this plus 330 is basically will he play football for the Bills next year? Because as big of a deal as that was, I mean, it's almost like, and I don't want to downplay any of the things that have happened to people, but it's like Eric Berry or I mean, it was just so publicized. And when he came back and played again, and he played at a high enough level too, that didn't hurt. But like so many other years where I don't know, it's almost like the golf outrights when there's a huge favorite and they offer. Well, they used to do this with Lewis Hamilton too in F1, where they'd offer a market. It's like here's the market without Damar Hamlin. Bet on like who gets second place in the voting for comeback player of the year. But I think in a normal year, like Lamar Jackson is such big value here. He won MVP. If he does go somewhere with receivers like Atlanta, guy could have a really big year. If he stays, he's got a new pretty good OC. Like it's super fun to think about Lamar Jackson putting up big numbers. Cooper Kupp was capable of a 2,000-yard season, and he's just coming off a big injury. Jimmy G in a new spot, like winning 12, 13 games. There's some really good names on here. And then you have to like I don't feel bad saying like Damar Hamlin just ruining this market, but it's I don't know. It's maybe I'm maybe I'm just way overthinking this.
It does seem to me like a lot for him to be the favorite. Now, again, we know what happened. We know how much coverage there was of it. To your point, he might not be medically cleared to play football. And, Patrick asks, is there a book that will void if Hamlin doesn't play? Good God, I can't imagine how annoying that would be to even find out. And a lot of books probably
Yeah.
don't even think about that far down in their rules. So my guess is that's your bet. If he doesn't play, sucks to suck. You lose that bet. But like you said, kind of the name that sticks out to me is Lamar Jackson. I'd rather play Lamar Jackson and Cooper Kupp because you have to remember how long it's going to be when they vote on this. It will have been a year since whatever happened to Damar Hamlin happened. He's a safety. Maybe he doesn't play that much. And, not that anyone will ever forget, but maybe they'll kind of forget if Lamar Jackson is an Atlanta Falcon throwing touchdowns to, Drake London and Kyle Pitts and, back to being Lamar Jackson rushing for 800 plus yards, throwing for maybe 4,000 yards. Like you said, if Cooper Kupp comes out and even if he has like a 1,500, 1,600 yard season with a bunch of touchdowns, I mean, that's who you're looking at for this award. So I'm not betting DeMar Hamlin. Again, too much risk about whether or not he plays, what happens if he does play, and then God forbid somehow gets hurt again. If he plays and just isn't good, maybe he comes out and is a little apprehensive, right? I can imagine it would make perfect sense. I don't know how I would respond to going back to playing football after that. So there's just too much, I think, opportunity, a fat end on the negative part of the tail, as Whale would like to say.
Yeah, there's a really big chunk of this distribution where he just doesn't play football yet next year. And what's funny is like him being cleared in like week 12 is almost better for him for this award than him playing at the beginning of the season. Like it's November, we're deep into the season, and it's like, guess who's finally cleared to play football? And it's all we talk about for 2 weeks. And then and then it's still very fresh in the voters' minds once we get to it. So like, I think if you do want to bet DeMar Hamlin, that's your best case scenario is like he's cleared in November to play, and you're probably getting a better number. Like I agree with Noops, and I said this to Dan this morning too. Like if I had to bet one of these numbers right now, it's Lamar Jackson. John Mechie got brought up too again by producer Dan. He had cancer.
He's his quarterback.
Yeah, he had cancer, but it just wasn't. I hate to be crass, but it just wasn't publicized. Well, yeah, it just wasn't like a big public like the Eric Berry thing felt like it made a lot more news. It doesn't feel like it has enough weight to it. And again, we hope Mechie's fine. I'd love to see him play. I was excited about his role, but yeah, also who's his quarterback going to be?
And there is no Mechie horse account, so
No, there is no Mechie horse. So, all right. Let's keep the winning ways rolling. You did not lose a bet last night in the NBA. 3-0 in the show. Good job to you. The Jazz were inside the number pretty much the whole game, if I remember right. Or was there a little lull in there? I kind of paid attention.
There's a couple points. Yeah, there's a couple points that were tough, and they weren't always within our number. The closing number, I think, finished around 11. We took 8.5 because we thought Lauri Markkanen was playing. But the most impressive part was our Rockets Thunder under. Thankfully, a 35-point fourth quarter to get it done. I'm going to try to remember this every time. Next time I lose the total by 2 points.
And I misspoke. We were not 3-0 in the NBA. We were 4-0. Alperin, the Alpine Shepherd, Seguin, the Madman from the Turkish Madman.
The Turkish Terror.
The Constantinople Crusher. He was set at 9.5 rebounds, and he played like 20 minutes. Because it was such a blowout. They were up by like 30 in the second quarter. There was 40-point leads, man. He did not get a lot of time because he's a starter. He still got his 10th rebound there in the third quarter before sitting the entire fourth, I think. So just by the hair of my chinny chin chin, Alperin Sengun did get my prop. Now riding 2-0 in props. For every $100 I wagered, I'm returning about 30. Because I'm also laddering like the alt props up
giving
too
back
high.
30. Yes.
So I'm winning money, but just not as much as if I just would bet the fucking prop like a normal person. So, but I digress, and we move into today's NBA action. We got a couple looks.
Just 3 games, and again, I generally preach trying to be cautious, but 2 of these 3 game spots I really like here. The third game, Matt's not here today, but his Chicago Bulls, 8-point underdogs hosting the Bucks. I wouldn't bet that with my worst enemy's money. I have no clue what's going to happen in that game. I mean, the Bucks looks like Giannis is going to play. Who knows how much? The Bulls have been better at home, but they continue to find ways to not cover. So going to pass that game over and have 2 spots here. We'll start with the Washington Wizards. With all due respect to your Minnesota Timberwolves, this game is much closer to a pick'em for me. The Wizards, when fully healthy with Kuzma, with Porzingis, with Beal, they've got everybody playing tonight, have been a pretty solid NBA basketball team. And Again, would have this as kind of a pick 'em on a neutral court. And again, with all due respect to Minneapolis, it's not a 3-point home court advantage here. I'm happy to take the Wizards +3. I'm curious to see if the Timberwolves finally rest Gobert here. He could certainly use it. Especially going into the long week. And again, kind of a tough schedule spot. The last game before All-Star break, but I think it's a little tougher here for your Timberwolves. This is their first game home after being on the road for about a week or two. Come home, have to play one more game. The Wizards at least are going to wrap up here and then get back to Washington. So I think they'll be a little more focused and locked in tonight. But again, before even looking at that, my numbers had this game basically a pick 'em. I like this spot for Washington. So give me the +3. I'm going to take the over in the Clippers-Suns game. And I know that Suns overs at home haven't really been that great, but you have to look at the difference between with and without Devin Booker. With Devin Booker, the offense has been much better for Phoenix. The efficiency obviously way up, the scoring way up, and the defense takes a little bit of a step back. The other side, you look at the Clippers when fully healthy. They've got Paul George, Kawhi, and everybody should be playing tonight. A much faster paced team, really push the ball and get it up and down here. And as much as this is a huge matchup for the Pacific Division, Andy, both of these teams one game behind the Sacramento Kings. That's right, your Pacific Division leading Sacramento Kings. So whoever wins this will remain just about a game back. Still pretty close, in which is a tight race. I had this closer to 228, almost 229. So 223, 224. It's all good. Give me an over for Clippers, Suns, and then the Wizards +3.
And you brought up Lauri Markkanen. I looked into that. So knee injury, right? But also, he's an All-Star game starter. Is nobody playing? What is going on? He's not that good, right? Like it's
He's
fine.
been
You're
incredible.
an All-Star. Yeah. Is he
He's
just
been
that
really
good now,
good.
or is what's happening?
I'm going to pull it up real quick and see what his stat averages are so far this year. But yeah, he's been fantastic. I think he's averaging almost 25 points a game, 8 rebounds. He's shooting 51% from the field, which is huge for a big guy, especially someone who shoots as many threes as he does. I'm trying to see what his 3-point percentage is this year. For some reason, that's not on the front page. It should be a front page thing. Yeah, shooting 41% from 3 on 7.5 attempts a game. He's been really incredible, and I was a little surprised that he's a starter, but he's going to be he should be an all-star. He should absolutely be in that game. So kudos for him, and maybe a little hint tomorrow when we talk about some all-star weekend props. He is a very good candidate to win the 3-point shootout, Andy.
Oh, you know how I feel about those. That was
We
so
love big
fun
guys.
watching. That was so fun watching Cat win that at a pretty big price too.
It's like +900.
I'm not good at time zones. It took me so long to figure out. It took me so long to figure out what time zone I was in when I was in Arizona. And Arizona's the worst.
Arizona's in a weird spot
because they don't do daylight savings. So it's mountain time sometimes, Pacific time sometimes, other times. So here's a head-to-head that already started. You can't bet this. Put the graphic on the screen, Dan. Just rub it in my face that I'm dumb. Tom Kim over Wyndham Clark. I bet this. I guess
not Wyndham Earl.
Yeah, if you're in that Wyndham Earl, God, are we doing that again? That's worth a rewatch.
Well, since you can't actually make the bet, I might as well say something funny.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh man, yeah. So log lady over Wyndham Earl is the bet, I guess here, but you can't take advantage of that. If you did, I guess if you're in the Discord, you would have got it there earlier. So this is one, and good, he's up by 2 strokes already after like a hole and a half. So hopefully that keeps going.
Golf, folks.
Yeah, hopefully that's trending in the right direction. Go Tom Kim. A couple of my outrights aren't starting off so hot, but such is life. There's a lot of golf to be played yet, and I'm going to be flipping this TV on for sure after the show and paying attention to some golf. So I'll try to have something that starts a little later in the day tomorrow. I'm the asshole. That's on me, and we're off to tennis. And that's another one. Yet another winner there yesterday with the first set over. Is it a court thing and they're just not adjusting, or is it matchups, or a little column A, little column B?
I think a little column A, a little column B. I mean, it's a fantastic tournament. Basically, all the great players are here, and when you have that kind of dynamic where everyone's really good, again, these first sets and matches in general tend to just be battles. It's a nice paycheck here. There is only 500 ranking points, but again, the payouts are pretty good, and that's really at the end of the day, money in the pocket drives what's happening here. So yeah, it's been a great tournament, and I think you're right. It's probably a combination of the courts, but also again stacked draw. When you have the best players out there, a lot less lopsided matches, and had success with the first set over yesterday. Let's go back to the well, and I was actually able to stack up all the prices already today. I know I usually talk about these first set over 9.5s, and mention as things start to open up a little bit. Everything was ready to go when I was looking this morning, and next match up here after Beatriz Haddad Mai finishes playing. Jessica Pegula will be Maria Sakkari and Caroline Garcia. Looks like that's slotted to start around 1:15 Eastern, so about an hour and maybe 15 minutes after we finish the show here. Again, should be a spectacular match. They played 3 times before, generally very competitive. Garcia's won the 3 head-to-heads, but that goes back to like 2019. Be careful with head-to-head in tennis. They generally span back way too long, generally on different surfaces, but a couple matchups here that I think are indicative of what we might see. And again, I expect this first set to be a real battle, and happy to just stack it all the way up here. 9.5 minus 15, 10.5 plus 245, over 12.5 plus 410. Most of these I think were on DraftKings. One of them I think I pulled from FanDuel, but again, just about all the regulated books have them. If you're using MGM, that's kind of weird. They don't offer Andy over 9.5 at MGM. They offer 8.5. They offer 10.5. They offer 12.5, but they don't want the 9.5. They don't want that action. So again, should be a really competitive first set here, cheering for a tiebreaker, and everything's good. So, again, 2 women very even in competition here. Thought about actually playing some Garcia to win the match, 2-1, but didn't really find a price I like. So just stick with this. First set again, over 9.5, 10.5, 12.5. Let's get a tiebreaker.
I dig it. Yeah, good day for the show overall yesterday. I think I went 2-1 in basketball. With
Your
a 1
Champions
point,
League play won.
And yeah, my Champions Play League that somebody in the chat honestly recommended, so I'll have to give them credit if I can remember the name. But yeah, and the one loss was a 3-point favorite that only won by 2, which is annoying. They're up by 4 late, and then just end of game situations will sometimes nip you.
That's what you get for betting a favorite.
And it's funny too, the 8.5 point dog where I made the joke about like, oh, I'm sports betting media guy in 23. It wouldn't surprise me if this team won outright. They were leading with like 3 seconds left, lost on the last possession. So good job, Rhode Island, keeping it close. And your LaSalle Explorers wire to wire winners. That one was kind of a never in doubter. They were very, very good. So good job. Good job. Lacrosse. I almost said lacrosse. LaSalle. And Dan is saying Travis Etienne wasn't eligible for Rookie of the Year. I think he would be eligible for.
Well, the question was whether or not Mechie is eligible for Rookie of the Year. That's kind of why they were.
Yeah,
talking
no,
about
it'd be like, is he eligible for comeback player because he didn't play? I think anything's possible with comeback. I think there's less rules about that. Rookie of the Year, there's rules about service time and all that, and being on a roster even though you're on injured reserve count. So a couple bets though in the college hoops for the day. A couple short favorites again. This is the time of year where I do start playing some of these short favorites. We're getting to rematch season where people have played each other a couple times. And Nicholls State. The Nicholls State. Oh, buddy, Knight. No, Nicholls State. Redbirds, Cardinals, Colonels. The Colonels. Colonels, one of the stupidest spelled words in the universe. Nicholls State Colonels, 1.5 point favorite over Texas A&M Corpus Christi, which is a real long name. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, one of the better teams in the Southland, but Nicholls not that far behind them. Winners of 3 straight, playing tough. They did lose this road matchup, short favorite at home. Caleb Huffman has been very good for them. I think he's a senior now. He dropped 31 last game. I think had a really, was it a rebound game? Oh, 17-7. Okay day against New Orleans, but Southeastern Louisiana isn't a bad team, and he dropped 31 on them as well. So they're playing well right now, and basically it's a team that protects the ball really well, kind of on theme with what I go with. They don't turn the ball over that much, and they do turn the opposing teams over at a
But they
pretty
make
high
their free
clip.
throws too.
Yeah, I think they're number one. I think they're number one in opposing turnover rate, 22% on defense. That is a harassing defense against a lot of steals. So looking at them as a short favorite, and the Bellarmine Knights, I knew this one right off the bat. You can't fool me on this. Guess what state they're in?
New York.
Close. Kentucky.
That is
This
not
is
close.
one. It's still. I had to look it up. I know. Well, it's close. It's on the. It's west. It's not west of the Mississippi. Like it was. It was on the right side there. So playing. Play this. And this is another one. This is a rematch too with North Alabama, and a spot where they beat them in the away matchup right after New Year's. This will be a home match. Home match? Are we still talking soccer here? This is despite being one of the lower ranked offenses in the league, decent effective effective field goal percentage, makes their free throws well enough, shoots. They don't shoot the three ball that well. If they get behind, it could be a little squirrely, but this is a good enough offense for me, and I make this like a 5. So looking for just a blowout. That would be nice. I get worried about some of these favorites. I hate that when you see the like when you have a dog, if it's just a close game, you can just live with that. But with these favorites, close games give you the itchy butt. So I don't want the itchy butt. I want a 17-point lead at halftime. Bellarmine Knights, let's go. So just 2 for tonight. And yeah, what was it? 2 basketball games from you, 2 basketball games from me, some tennis. And you know, fuck it, I might just go bet Lamar. And that's it. Call it a day.
I think a Lamar and Cup will definitely be bet. And again, I'll talk about NBA All-Star stuff next week, but there is a price on a man named Mac McClung, who I learned this morning apparently plays for my 76ers G League team. So he is starting to become the favorite in the dunk contest in a few spots. If you have a book that offers plus 400, there's a PPH that has it, and apparently Bet365 has that number. Go ahead and grab that now, because it's not going to be around soon, and I definitely won't get a chance to bet it myself. So hopefully you do.
Was he Texas Tech? Is
no
that right?
idea.
Someone will have to. I remember him from college, I think.
Mac McClung.
Yeah,
Texas Tech. Yes, he was
Texas
he
Tech.
played in Georgetown and Texas Tech.
He was from the Texas Tech run. Yeah, G League guy. And I know Noops said we'll talk All-Star break stuff next week. We'll probably do it tomorrow. We'll probably do some All-Star break. Yeah, we'll have Noops' breakdown of all the. We'll have the skills competition. We'll have the dunk contest. We'll have the 3-point contest. We'll have the rookies game. Well, is that a thing still?
Yeah, they have it. Okay. They now do like the Rising Stars Championship. It's a little 14 tournament. It's actually kind of fun. So yeah, we'll hit all that tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow for that.